Hey, and welcome back to another episode of The Chef's Table. I'm Chef Evelyn, and I am a culinary brand strategist that specializes in helping chefs charge premium prices in their food brand so they can live, cook, and work on their own terms. Listen, and today I want to share with you 5 ingredients that go into charging higher prices in your food business, right? So before we jump in, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm so excited to have you. Thank you for visiting this little corner of the internet where we talk about building high-end culinary brands and charging premium prices, okay? And if you have been here before, then listen, welcome back, okay? Say hi in the comments. Let me know, is this your second, third, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th time? I don't know. Listen, you must have liked what I'm serving up because you're back for seconds, right? So if you end up liking what you hear, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and let's get into 5 ingredients to charging higher prices. Of course, I'm gonna make it, food related because this is what we do, right? So here's the thing. Let me tell you first, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I think a lot of times when people hear my messaging about charging higher prices, they're just like, got it, I'm about to go charge higher prices, I'm gonna charge my word, you gonna pay me, run me my invoice. Like, people get really excited, and I'm all for the excitement. However, we are not just pulling dollar amounts out of the sky. People tell you to charge their worth, but they don't tell you that there's a framework that goes behind that, right? So it's not about proving that you're worth higher prices, right? Like, I'm pretty sure, but you have to have the things built in your brand to charge higher prices. So the first ingredient, obviously, to charge higher prices is that you have high quality ingredients, literally, right? Whatever you're doing, right? So that the thing that you're doing, I don't care if you're doing meal prep, personal chefing, catering, dinner parties, cooking classes, writing cookbooks, creating content for brands, right? That whatever the thing is that you're doing is super, super high quality, right? So I'm always going to encourage you to always be, staying up to date on your craft, perfecting your craft, getting in your 10,000 plus hours of whatever it is that you do, right? So that needs to be high quality, right? Because you can't really command higher prices with a low quality product or service, right? So that needs to be high quality, no cutting corners, no going cheap on whatever it is that you offer, right? And so here's the thing, I say that, but there's other things that go into that, right? And so a lot of times I think people think that if I just keep tweaking this one ingredient, right, that's where they'll extract more revenue, more income out of their business. And it's like there's other knobs to turn that will, pull more juice out of the lemon, if you will, right? So one of it obviously is the quality of your product or service. And here's the thing, and I think this is where a lot of other coaches, consultants, online programs, courses focus their energy, right, is on how to improve your food photography, how to write better blog posts, right, the art of plating, right, like, how to make better chocolates, whatever the case may be. And I think that's totally fantastic. Like, that's kind of like the purpose of culinary school, right? What they don't teach you, right, is like the brand building on how to charge premium prices and create this high-end brand experience, right? So the first thing is like the quality has to be there. Okay. The second thing, ingredients that goes into charging higher prices is your professional experience. And a lot of times, depending on where you've come from, if you come from corporate, you're used to having a salary. If you've come from working in the food service industry, a lot of times, people are used to being paid by the hour, and they just kind of, give themselves an hourly wage, but they really don't think about what goes all into that, right? And part of what goes into that is your professional experience, right? And that's one of the factors, right? And so I think, when you're competing on just quality and price, that makes you a commodity, right? Like, oh, I can do this really well and I can do it for cheaper than anybody else. And then you're kind of competing in that range. When it comes to charge on higher prices, which the way to do that is obviously by building a high-end culinary brand, there's more to it than that, right? Like, there's more to it than, okay, this is my pricing and my product or service is good, right? There's your professional experience is another ingredient that goes into it. That kind of leads me into my next point, or next ingredient on charging higher prices, is that your specific expertise also comes into play, right? So there's your actual experience, right? But then there's your specific expertise. Like, what are you known for? And you've heard me say this so many times recently in my videos, that there's a reason why the anesthesiologist makes more than your primary care physician. Is because they are considered an expert at something very specific, right? That same thing applies in your food service business, okay? So your specific expertise, what you're the best at, is what helps you charge premium prices, right? So your professional experience, the quality of the work that you do, and your specific expertise, right? Also, obviously, if you think about the quality of what you do, obviously the time that you've invested, in your business, like learning about it, investing in growing it, whether you've taken coaching or courses and consulting, like all of those things that you have actually spent actual dollars on also factors into charging premium prices. I think a lot of times people look at that category and they go, I haven't really invested much in my business, right? But yet they want people to spend significantly with them, and that's kind of incongruent. So another ingredient that goes into charging higher prices is what you've actually invested in your own business, right? And I have a video where I talk about is a high-end culinary brand a good fit for you? And I talk about if you won't invest in your business at the level you want to charge people, then that's incongruent, right? So if you want to charge people $1,500 for something or $2,000 for something, have you invested that much in your business or more, right? Because it's your thing, and if you aren't willing to spend the money on it, it's kind of incongruent to want other people to spend money on it. I digress, but that is another ingredient that goes into it, right? So the quality of the product or service that you're offering, how much you've invested into the business, your professional experience, your specific expertise. But here's the thing, right? This is the biggest one, and this is the one that I feel like people are missing, right? Is that the brand experience that you offer. And a lot of times people don't really fully understand what all goes into a high-end premium luxury style brand experience. And they think if I just do a good job, right, on the thing, then that should be enough to justify my higher prices. And it's kind of not exactly. I know that's kind of what we were taught in school. If you just do a good job, you will be rewarded accordingly. And that is partially true, right? You can't do trash work, right? Like I said, the quality has to be there, which is why I started with that. But the thing that really makes it high end, the thing that's going to have it excel and scale and grow, is when you have this comprehensive high-end brand experience, right? It's one of the reasons where I created the How to Charge Premium Prices in Your Food Brand Masterclass, because I wanted people to know, here are the 7 phases, the 7 stages, the 7 steps, the 7 areas that really need to be firing on all cylinders in order to justify charging these premium prices, right? I call it's my signature dinner party framework, that is not just in the quality of what you do, right? That is a piece of it, but it's not just that. There are so many other components that happen, and being able to charge premium prices starts well before people actually become a client or customer, and it continues on well after. I say that all the time, right? So let's kind of recap, the 5 ingredients it takes to charge higher prices. The first thing is that you have to have a quality product or service, right? So even though I talk a lot about the experience, I think we can't even get into that if the quality of what you're doing is not there, right? But I think that that. I think that if you're here, you've worked on that, you probably have an amazing quality. I tell all my clients, I'm assuming that you're good at what you do. I'm assuming that you can actually cook, right? So that's kind of like a given. It's a basis, right? The other thing is your professional experience. And the reason why your professional experience goes into your pricing is because every time you offer your service or your product, whether you know it or not, you're bringing all of that to the table, right? Like even when I'm consulting my clients, the fact that I used to be an engineer working corporate comes up and is beneficial to them in ways that people wouldn't think. So I definitely take that into consideration, right? Even when I was cooking, right, like being a chemical engineer and understanding heat transfer and thermodynamics and chemistry and things like that came out when I was teaching my cooking classes. And so I take that into consideration, right? So my professional experience definitely plays a part in my pricing, right? So does my specific expertise. The fact that I've decided that I want to be a master of this thing, right? Like I don't want to be a Jane of all trades. I want to master this one thing. That also goes into my pricing for premium pricing, because I'm letting you know, like I have focused in, right? It's kind of like, who do you want doing heart surgery on you? Somebody that specifically has spent the past 15 years, 20 years, 30 years working on thousands of hearts? Or the person that does a little heart surgery, a little brain surgery, they do a little OBGYN, they do a little like dermatology? No. And I know that's an extreme example, but I want you to get the point, right? And then also, like, you know, what you've invested in your business, right? Like that also goes into pricing, because the people on the end user is reaping the benefits from all the investments that you have made in your business, whether they know it or not, right? Like there are things that you are benefiting from even watching this video, from investments that I made, whether you know it or not, right? Investments in cameras, lighting, editing, sound equipment, the information that I'm giving, other little intrinsic things that I have going on that you may have no idea what it is, but I know what has gone into that, right? And so the same thing is true for your business, right? And then lastly, that high-end brand experience. Like I will say this till I'm blue in the face, you cannot just charge premium prices because you're in the mood to charge premium prices. You have to complement that with a comprehensive high-end brand experience. And if you don't know how to do that, the good news is that you can learn, right? Like it's not a secret, it's not luck, it's not by chance. You can actually learn that, right? And it's one of the things, I teach that in my High-End Culinary Brand Masterclass. So if you're like, Evelyn, you know what, I want to get on a path to charging premium prices in my business, and I need to know what that framework is, then make sure you go to highendculinarybrand.com, enroll in the masterclass. Once you take it, hit me up on Instagram. Let me know what you think, and let me know what else have was there anything I said today that you haven't included in your pricing, right? Like typically people will tell you it's food cost, packaging, labor, and it's just like there's so much more to it than that. So let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Peace.